Imagine this. You're standing at the precipice of a vast, uncharted landscape, a terrain not of mountains and valleys, but of your own deepest psyche. Below, a shimmering mist conceals ancient rivers and hidden forests, whispers of forgotten truths and dormant power. This is the realm of the unconscious, a place Carl Jung dared to map, a place where the seeds of your destiny lie buried, waiting for the sunlight of your awareness. For too long, the wisdom held within this boundless inner world has been dismissed, its profound language, the language of dreams, relegated to mere nighttime fancies or Freudian trivialities. But what if these nocturnal voyages, these vivid, often unsettling narratives, are not random occurrences but precise messages, coded epistles from your deepest self, guiding you toward individuation, toward the fullest expression of your being? The modern world, with its relentless pursuit of external validation, its clamor for material gain, and its dismissal of the sacred, has largely severed the vital connection to this inner wellspring. Women, especially, have been taught to seek their reflection in the eyes of others, to measure their worth against societal constructs and the fickle affections of the external world. They are often unconscious of the myriad projections they carry, both the idealized images they strive to embody and the dreaded shadow aspects they desperately repress. This repression, this turning away from the authentic self, creates an internal dissonance, a silent scream from the soul that manifests in myriad ways. Anxiety, self-doubt, a gnawing sense of unfulfillment, even patterns of attraction to those who mirror their own unacknowledged wounds. The Stoic philosophers, like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius, understood the critical importance of self-mastery, of turning inward to find true dominion. They spoke of the inner citadel, impregnable to external forces, a sanctuary built on the bedrock of self-awareness. Yet, even they might have marveled at the depth of the unconscious mind, a realm far more intricate than their rational frameworks could fully encompass. The male unconscious, too, plays a pivotal role in this intricate dance of attraction and relationship dynamics, often projecting its own unintegrated anima onto women, seeking completion in an external form rather than confronting its internal landscape. This dynamic traps both genders in a perpetual cycle of unfulfilled longing, a tragic quest for a wholeness that can only be cultivated within. But the dream, that often ignored oracle, bypasses the ego's carefully constructed defenses, speaking directly to the soul in its own symbolic tongue. It presents the unvarnished truth, revealing the masks we wear, the wounds we carry, and the hidden potentials yearning to be unleashed. To engage with dreams is to embark on a profound journey of shadow work, to descend into the underworld of your own psyche and confront the aspects of yourself that you have disowned, the parts deemed unacceptable by your conscious mind or by societal conditioning. This confrontation is not for the faint of heart. It requires immense courage, a willingness to gaze into the abyss and reclaim what has been exiled. Yet, it is precisely in this courageous descent that true empowerment is found. Consider the recurring dream of being chaste, a common motif that often points to an unresolved conflict, a neglected aspect of the self demanding attention. Or the dream of a crumbling house, symbolizing a foundational shift, a dissolving structure in one's life or psyche that needs to be rebuilt. These are not arbitrary images. They are potent symbols, rich with meaning, designed to prompt introspection and action. The dream acts as a compensatory mechanism, attempting to restore balance to a psyche thrown off kilter by conscious neglect or imbalance. It offers a counter-narrative to the ego's often limited perspective, revealing the broader, deeper truths of your existence. This is where the power of the feminine archetype, the archetypal Sophia or wisdom figure, emerges. It is the intuitive, receptive force within, capable of perceiving the hidden currents and understanding the language of the soul. Embracing this intuitive power, rather than suppressing it, is fundamental to unlocking your inner wisdom. It's a process of becoming permeable to the subtle whispers of your inner guide, allowing the unconscious to inform and enrich your conscious life. This profound engagement with your dreams, therefore, isn't just a psychological exercise. It is an act of reclamation, a spiritual homecoming, a forging of an unshakable inner compass. To disregard the messages embedded within your dreams is to remain perpetually at the mercy of external forces, to be swayed by the shifting sands of opinion and circumstance. It is to deny the profound truth that self-worth is an internal construct, not a commodity to be acquired from the marketplace of validation. Many women, navigating the tumultuous waters of modern relationships, find themselves caught in cycles of seeking approval, believing that if they just bend enough, concede enough, sacrifice enough, they will finally earn the love and acceptance they crave. This is the tragic illusion of the uninitiated feminine, the woman who has not yet plumbed the depths of her own soul. The trauma of past hurts, the echoes of childhood wounds, often manifest as a relentless pursuit of external mirroring, a desperate attempt to heal old scars through new relationships. But as Jungian psychology so powerfully demonstrates, true healing comes not from without, but from within, through the courageous confrontation of one's own inner landscape. The dream, in its enigmatic beauty, serves as a powerful diagnostic tool, exposing the roots of these attachment patterns, the origins of our deepest fears, and the unresolved conflicts that sabotage our relationships and dim our inner light. It often presents the very shadow elements that we project onto others, particularly in romantic partnerships. When a woman consistently finds herself drawn to partners who are emotionally unavailable, critical, or dismissive, it is rarely a coincidence. More often, these individuals are unwittingly serving as mirrors, reflecting back her own unacknowledged needs for validation, her fear of abandonment, or her suppressed anger. The dream might vividly depict a scene where she is silenced, ignored, or even physically constrained, urging her conscious mind to recognize the patterns of disempowerment she has internalized. Only by acknowledging these internal dynamics, by embracing the shadow of her own unexpressed power, can she begin to break free from these destructive cycles. This is the essence of true individuation, the process of becoming a whole, integrated self, recognizing and incorporating all aspects of one's personality, even the uncomfortable ones. The Stoic wisdom of Epictetus reminds us that it is not external events that disturb us, but our interpretations of them. This applies profoundly to the internal landscape as well. It is not the dream itself that is disturbing, but our resistance to its message, our refusal to engage with the uncomfortable truths it reveals. The dream asks for your courageous attention, not your fearful avoidance. It demands that you confront the ego's resistance, that rigid construct of self that fears change and prefers the known, even if the known is painful. The ego, in its protective function, often seeks to maintain the status quo, even when that status quo is detrimental to the soul's growth. But the dream, an emissary from the deeper self, insists on evolution. It pushes you to transcend the limitations of your conscious conditioning and embrace a more expansive, authentic reality. This journey of self-discovery, fueled by dream analysis, is not merely about understanding symbols. It is about embodying their truths, integrating their wisdom into your waking life. Consider the pervasive cultural narrative that equates a woman's worth with her desirability to men. This external gaze, constantly evaluating and judging, creates a profound disconnect from the inner compass. The unconscious mind, however, is impervious to these superficial metrics. It speaks of inherent worth, of a power that predates any societal decree or romantic entanglement. When a woman begins to consciously engage with her dreams, she starts to dismantle this external narrative, recognizing that the true source of her power resides within her own psyche, independent of any external validation. The dream often presents archetypal figures: the wise old woman, the fierce warrior, the nurturing mother, inviting her to integrate these potent energies into her conscious identity. These are not external ideals to be emulated, but intrinsic aspects of her own multifaceted being, waiting to be acknowledged and activated. This internal alchemy is the true work of empowerment, a transformation far more profound and lasting than any superficial alteration of appearance or behavior. It is the arduous, yet ultimately liberating, journey into the self, guided by the luminous threads of your nocturnal visions. The profound silence of the night, when the clamor of the day recedes, is precisely when the unconscious chooses to speak most clearly. It is during these hours that the ego's defenses are lowered, and the symbolic language of the soul can penetrate the conscious mind. Yet, Many women remain oblivious to this nightly dialogue, dismissing their dreams as meaningless fragments or fleeting fantasies. This dismissal is a profound tragedy, for within these seemingly chaotic narratives lies the key to unlocking repressed emotions, healing deep-seated trauma, and forging a path toward authentic power. The unaddressed trauma, whether from childhood neglect, relational betrayal, or societal pressures, doesn't simply vanish. It lodges itself in the body and psyche, manifesting as chronic anxiety, self-sabotage, and an inability to form healthy, reciprocal relationships. The dream, with its uncanny ability to bypass conscious censorship, often brings these buried hurts to the surface, presenting them in symbolic form for processing and integration. Consider the dream of being trapped in a small, suffocating space, a common recurring nightmare for those struggling with feelings of confinement or powerlessness in their waking lives. Or the dream of losing your voice, a poignant reflection of suppressed truths and unexpressed needs. These aren't random anxieties. They are direct communications from your deepest self, urging you to confront the very situations or internal states that are stifling your growth and diminishing your light. This is where the courageous work of shadow integration truly begins, acknowledging the pain, the anger, the fear, and the vulnerability that have been exiled from conscious awareness. It is a terrifying yet liberating process, for only by embracing these disowned aspects can true healing commence. The Stoics, in their pursuit of virtue and inner peace, emphasize the acceptance of what is beyond our control and the cultivation of inner fortitude. While they focus primarily on rational thought, the Jungian approach extends this by recognizing the profound impact of the irrational and symbolic, suggesting that true fortitude includes the courageous engagement with the dark recesses of the psyche. The allure of external validation, particularly from romantic partners, is a powerful current that can pull a woman away from her own center. She might unconsciously project her internal archetypal figures, the animus, the inner masculine principle, onto external men, seeking in them the strength, direction, or assertiveness she believes she lacks within herself. This creates a dangerous dependency, as her sense of self-worth becomes tethered to the presence or absence of a man. The dream, however, can act as a radical disruptor to this pattern. It might present a male figure who is weak, absent, or even menacing, forcing the dreamer to confront her own internal relationship with masculine energy. By recognizing that these figures are often projections of her own inner landscape, she can begin the profound work of integrating her own animus, cultivating her own inner strength, agency, and discernment. This internal marriage of the feminine and masculine within her own psyche is a crucial step towards true autonomy and individuation. The journey towards psychological wholeness, guided by the wisdom of dreams, is not a passive endeavor. It demands active engagement, a willingness to question deeply held beliefs, and the courage to challenge societal conditioning. It requires a profound commitment to self-honoring, prioritizing your inner truth above external expectations. The woman who dedicates herself to this path begins to embody a different kind of magnetism, one that emanates from her core authenticity rather than from a desperate need for approval. She becomes a force unto herself, not chasing external validation but radiating an undeniable self-possession. This profound transformation is often accompanied by a sense of liberation, a shedding of old skins, and a fierce reclamation of her sovereign self. It is the arduous ascent from the collective unconscious into the unique light of her own conscious being, a testament to the enduring power of her inner wisdom. The pursuit of happiness through external means is a fool's errand, a perpetual striving that ultimately leaves one empty. This stark truth is nowhere more evident than in the realm of romantic relationships, where so many project their unfulfilled desires and unmet needs onto another, burdening them with the impossible task of completing a self that must first complete itself. The ego projection involved in this dynamic is immense, with individuals often seeing in their partners not who they truly are, but idealized or demonized versions constructed from their own internal landscape of hopes and fears. The dream, in its unblinking honesty, frequently dissects these projections, revealing the inherent falsity of seeking wholeness outside oneself. It might present the ideal partner as flawed, or the flawed partner as possessing hidden strengths, thereby challenging the rigid categories of the conscious mind and urging a more nuanced understanding of both self and other. This confrontation with one's own projections is a pivotal aspect of individuation, a painful but ultimately liberating process. It means acknowledging that the traits you despise in another might be dormant aspects of your own shadow, yearning for recognition. Conversely, the qualities you idealize in a partner might be undeveloped potentials within yourself, waiting to be cultivated. The dream often serves as a merciless mirror, reflecting back these uncomfortable truths. For a woman, this might involve confronting the internalized patriarchal narratives that diminish her power, or the collective unconscious patterns that compel her to prioritize the needs of others above her own. The wisdom of the Stoics, particularly their emphasis on differentiating between what is within our control and what is not, becomes profoundly relevant here. We cannot control the actions of others, nor can we force them to fulfill our internal narratives. What we can control, however, is our internal response, our projections, and our own journey towards self-possession. The pervasive fear of being alone, a powerful driver of many unhealthy relationship patterns, is often rooted in deep-seated trauma and a fundamental lack of self-worth. This fear can compel a woman to remain in relationships that diminish her, to tolerate disrespect, or to abandon her own needs in a desperate bid to avoid abandonment. The dream, with its symbolic language, frequently addresses this core vulnerability. It might depict scenes of abandonment, isolation, or frantic searching, not to induce fear, but to bring the underlying anxiety to conscious awareness, thereby opening a pathway for healing. It asks you to sit with that discomfort, to understand its origins, and to realize that true security stems not from external attachment, but from an unshakable connection to your inner self, an internal anchor that no external storm can dislodge. This journey into the depths of the psyche, guided by the profound wisdom of Jung and the practical fortitude of Stoicism, culminates in a radical shift in perspective regarding attraction dynamics. When a woman genuinely commits to her own shadow work, to integrating her fragmented self, and to cultivating a deep wellspring of self-worth independent of external validation, her energetic blueprint fundamentally changes. She ceases to operate from a place of scarcity or desperate need. Instead, she emanates an authentic presence, a quiet confidence that is intrinsically magnetic. This is not about manipulative techniques or playing games. It is an organic outgrowth of inner integrity. The external world, including potential partners, inevitably responds to this shift. Those who are only drawn to neediness or insecurity will naturally fall away, unable to resonate with her newfound self-sovereignty. Conversely, those who value genuine connection, depth, and partnership are drawn to her authentic light. This reorientation of attraction is not a conscious strategy but an inevitable consequence of aligning with her deepest truth, a blossoming of the inner feminine in its most empowered form. The power of the female unconscious, once suppressed and fragmented, begins to flow freely, guiding her not into entanglements born of projection, but into relationships that honor her wholeness and reflect her inherent worth. This is the ultimate freedom, the freedom to choose, not out of fear or lack, but from a place of profound abundance. The profound reorientation that occurs when a woman embraces her inner wisdom, guided by the symbolic language of her dreams, transcends mere self-improvement. It is a spiritual awakening. She begins to understand that the external world is but a reflection of her internal state, and that true power lies not in controlling others or external circumstances, but in mastering her own psyche. This internal mastery, often achieved through rigorous shadow work and the courageous integration of disowned aspects of self, confers a profound sense of peace and an unshakable inner calm, echoing the very essence of Stoic tranquility. When Seneca spoke of living in accordance with nature, he referred not only to the external world, but to the deep, intrinsic nature of the human soul. To neglect the wisdom of the unconscious is to live against one's own deepest truth. The false promises of external validation, so relentlessly peddled by modern society, begin to lose their luster. The ephemeral highs derived from another's approval, the fleeting sense of worth gleaned from romantic attachment, are revealed for what they are: superficial substitutes for the authentic joy of self-possession. The trauma responses, once unconscious drivers of anxious attachment or avoidant behaviors, gradually dissolve as the roots of those wounds are exposed and healed through conscious awareness. The woman who dedicates herself to this profound inner journey transforms her relationship with self-worth. It shifts from a precarious edifice built on external feedback to an inherent, undeniable truth that resides within her core, impervious to the whims of others. This is the individuation process unfolding in its most potent form, the unique blueprint of her soul becoming fully realized. This journey inevitably reshapes her experience of attraction and relationships. The incessant seeking, the desperate need to be chosen, recedes, replaced by a grounded presence that simply is. She no longer projects her internal anima or her unintegrated needs onto external partners. Instead, she recognizes these archetypal forces within herself, drawing strength and completeness from her own rich inner world. This shift in internal landscape profoundly alters her energetic field. She emits a quiet confidence, an aura of self-contained power that naturally repels those who would exploit her vulnerabilities and attracts those who can meet her as an equal. The male unconscious, previously drawn to her for unconscious reasons of his own projection, now encounters a woman who demands respect not through overt statements, but through the very essence of her being. The illusion that another person can complete you, that true happiness lies in finding the one, is shattered by the profound realization that wholeness is an inside job. This doesn't mean forsaking love or connection. It means entering into relationships from a place of abundance, not scarcity. It means choosing a partner who complements her already complete self, rather than one who is expected to fill an internal void. This discernment is a hallmark of the woman who has truly integrated her inner wisdom. She trusts her intuition, that subtle voice of her female unconscious, to guide her not into entanglement, but into genuine connection. The culmination of this profound psychological and spiritual journey is an unprecedented sense of emotional freedom. The chains of external validation fall away, leaving her unburdened by societal expectations or the need for approval. There is a deep, abiding inner peace that arises from knowing herself fully, embracing her light and her shadow, and standing sovereign in her own truth. It is a rebirth, a radical reclamation of self, where she no longer chases after fleeting desires or external affections. The woman who knows her worth doesn't chase. She chooses. ND.